Hi, it's me. Megalodon, the largest shark that ever existed, is one of the most ferocious predators in history. In fact, Megalodon was the undisputed king of the ancient seas. This huge fish had an enormous set of jaws and gigantic teeth, which were capable of crushing even the hardest bones. But what made this prehistoric giant so terrifying? You are about to find out in today's episode, only here. 50 feet long, 15 meters high, weighing up to 60 tons. That's how big Megalodon was. To imagine its immensity, here's a comparison. An average human is 1.73 meters tall. So if we place such a person next to a Megalodon, it will look like a tiny ant. A double-decker bus is about 12 meters long, so even 5 of these buses could fit inside a Megalodon's mouth. But let's take it one step further and compare Megalodon to other sharks. For instance, the whale shark, which is the largest shark currently living on our planet. It can reach 12 meters in length and weigh up to 21.5 tons. But that's just peanuts, compared to the king of the ancient seas. Even if we add up the length of 2 whale sharks, they will still be shorter than a Megalodon by almost 4 meters. There are also tigers among sharks, such as the great white shark, whose length can reach 6.1 meters and weigh up to 3.5 tons, and yet it looks quite dinky next to Megalodon. So now you have an idea of just how huge the prehistoric giant was. But that's not all. The size of its jaws alone reached 1.5 meters. To be more precise, their length measured between 1.3 and 1.8 meters. But the most impressive are its teeth. They were wedge-shaped and their length reached 18 centimeters. That's as large as an adult hand. The teeth were triangular and sharp, resembling the teeth of an alligator or crocodile. Moreover, there were several rows of them in the shark's mouth. And when one tooth was lost, it was immediately replaced by another, ensuring that Megalodon always had a full set of sharp weapons for hunting. But how did scientists find out the size of Megalodon's teeth and jaws? After all, this creature disappeared 23 million years ago. It turns out that back then, just like now, sharks had their teeth fall out from time to time. Some teeth were found at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, while others were discovered on the shores of Australia, England, and North America. In general, more than 5,000 fossilized teeth have been found worldwide, and each of them is a unique museum piece. And thanks to them, scientists have managed to recreate the appearance of Megalodon. But what did this giant eat? What kind of prey could it hunt? Scientists have estimated that the shark's daily ration consisted of about 2.5 tons of fish and marine mammals. Do you know what that much food is equal to? Almost 1,900 kilograms of steak. And that means that Megalodon needed to eat around 10 whales a day to stay full. There are many whales, but which ones could the enormous shark hunt? Given its immense size, it's easy to assume that Megalodon fed on blue whales. These giants reach 30 meters in length and weigh up to 190 tons. And yet scientists believe that this species appeared only 50 million years ago, while Megalodon disappeared 23 million years ago. So most likely they simply did not overlap in time. Perhaps the shark's main dish was the Basilosaurus. This monster also looked like a whale, but its length reached 15 meters and its weight 45 tons. At the same time, Basilosaurus appeared much earlier, about 55 million years ago, and disappeared only 40 million years ago. So perhaps the prehistoric giant could often hunt it. You can also guess that the sperm whale was on the menu. Now its length reaches 13 meters, and it weighs about 90 tons. Although such a large specimen is a rare occurrence, it's quite possible that the monster had such a treat. Once upon a time, scientists thought that the sperm whale appeared about 50 million years ago. However, more recent studies show that its ancestors appeared much earlier, so the time frames do match. And what if a Megalodon attacked not just a single whale, but a whole herd of them, Keep in mind that these whales swim at a speed of 4.6 to 5.8 kilometers per hour, which means that even the most powerful motorboat will have no chance against them. However, if the herd is chased by several megalodons at once, it's quite possible that they won't be able to escape. Imagine a whale shark on the run for its life while several packs of hungry sharks are gaining on it. Which one will win such a race? I think it's obvious. Speaking of packs, marine biologists believe that Megalodon often used a strategy known as cooperative hunting. This tactic is also used by modern sharks. For example, hammerhead sharks sometimes form groups of 10 to 15 individuals to catch fish. They swim in a circle, gradually narrowing the circle until the prey is trapped, and then each shark bites off a piece. It's also known that mako sharks hunt this way. They approach schools of fish in flocks, and if there's too little prey, the sharks can work together to trap the fish. Using the same tactics, Megalodon easily caught its prey. Imagine a school of whale sharks swimming near the shore. Several megalodons approach them and begin working together to trap the prey. The sharks narrow the circle, preventing the whales from escaping. And then it's a matter of seconds. Each megalodon bites off a chunk of its prey. And the process is accelerated even more by the fact that whale sharks have very few teeth. They use their gills to filter food, while megalodons have jagged weapons for cutting flesh. Let us know in the comments whether you think such a hunt is cruel. Personally, I believe that nature is red in tooth and claw. To be fair, Megalodon didn't live only in the warm waters of the equator. The remains of this monster have been found off the shores of New Zealand, where the water temperature ranges from 12 to 18 degrees Celsius. So don't think that you can hide from the king of the seas by going as far away as possible from the equator. And what if Megalodon is still alive somewhere in the ocean depths? That would explain why, from time to time, fishermen pull strange creatures out of the sea, creatures that look like a cross between a shark and a whale. Or maybe these are just deformed whales. If you watch this channel, often, you've probably heard about the Bermuda Triangle. There have been cases when ships and airplanes disappeared without a trace in its waters. Perhaps they fell victim, not to the forces of nature, but to an enormous shark. After all, Megalodon often attacked not only marine animals, but also humans. At first, scientists believed that the first mention of such an attack came from the Japanese author Saikaku Yataka, who described it in his book written in 1632. However, later, similar stories appeared in other countries. For example, there was a legend in Africa according to which a huge shark attacked a boat full of people, and only a blacksmith named Umar was saved. Fortunately, the man was rescued by mariners who happened to pass by. In fact, it's quite possible that those attacks went unnoticed. After all, what would you say if a giant shark suddenly jumped out of the water and took someone away? Well, maybe that's why there have been so few attacks. The thing is that Megalodon avoided people as much as possible, and if an encounter still occurred, the man had a chance to escape. Just take a look at the size difference, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Moreover, Megalodon preferred to hunt at night. Well, that's what scientists assume, since its eyes were perfectly adapted for this. They were about 25 centimeters in diameter and had a tapetum, which is a reflective layer located behind the retina. Thanks to this, Megalodon could see really well in the dark, while modern sharks with similar eyes hunt only in shallow waters where they can see better. Another interesting fact is that the king of the seas could endure a hunger strike better than any endurance world champion. That's because it could go without food for several years, while other species starve in just a few weeks. Moreover, it could devour its prey, whole bones and all. It seems nothing could stand a chance against Megalodon. However, 23 million years ago, it suddenly disappeared. Scientists have several theories, but none of them is confirmed. According to one version, this happened due to climate change. As you may have guessed, Megalodon preferred warm waters. But 23 million years ago, the Earth entered a new ice age. It's possible that the shark simply couldn't endure such a sharp change, and that's why it disappeared. However, don't forget that even when it seemed that Megalodon had gone for good, it could still surprise its opponents. For example, about 1 million years ago, its teeth were found in a sedimentary rock layer in Japan. Maybe the king of the seas went into hiding and will surprise humanity again in our lifetime. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Also, check out this video. I bet you had no idea that this predator once ruled the oceans.